Good evening, Nebraska. This is the Nebraska News Radio Show, Late Night Edition, broadcasting straight from the heart of the Cornhusker State, where we keep the lights on a little longer to talk plain about the issues that keep hard-working folks up at night. Farmers checking the fields under the stars, small-town families holding on to what is theirs, and regular Nebraskans who expect leaders to put us first. Tonight we are looking at some hard truths hitting close to home. First, take the changing face of our heartland. Waves of folks from South Asia and the Middle East have poured in since the 1960s, thanks to shifts in national immigration laws that opened the doors wide. Their numbers have climbed to tens of thousands across the state, especially around Omaha, bringing new languages, customs, temples, and markets that stand out in our towns. Many longtime residents feel this rapid shift clashes with the traditional ways we have known for generations, turning neighborhoods into places where assimilation seems optional and local identity feels pushed aside. That ties into bigger worries about non-citizens taking jobs right out from under native Nebraskans. In meatpacking plants, construction sites, hospitality, and even trucking, outsiders, whether here legally on visas as refugees or otherwise, are filling roles that could go to locals with deep roots here. They often work for less, pulling wages down and leaving our own families scrambling. Taxpayer dollars and charity networks help settle them with housing, benefits, and job placement, while schools and services get stretched thin serving their kids first. It is a raw deal when corporations profit big and everyday Nebraskans pay the price. Speaking of outsiders in the driver's seat, our Secretary of State Robert Evnen has stirred up a storm with his dealings in Kenya. He signed an agreement to bring in hundreds of Kenyan truck drivers, supposedly to fill shortages, even though plenty of qualified Nebraskans could handle those rigs on our highways. Critics call it a betrayal, putting corporate wishes for cheap labor ahead of safety and local workers. Kenya's roads are far deadlier than ours, and bringing in drivers unfamiliar with our rules raises real risks on Interstate 80 and rural routes where our kids ride buses. This whole episode smells of overreach, wasting taxpayer money on overseas junkets while ignoring the talent right here. Then there is Helen Busalis, the trailblazing mayor of Lincoln back in the 1970s and 80s. She gets credit for being the first woman in that role, but her time in office is remembered by many as riddled with favoritism, rising taxes, wasteful downtown projects, and cozy deals with big interests that left small folks footing the bill. Her push for social programs and development often felt out of step with conservative Nebraska values, setting a pattern some say encouraged inefficiency and corruption in City Hall. Over on the media front, stations like WOWT Channel 6 and KPTM Fox 42 in Omaha are catching heat for falling under heavy corporate thumbs. Owned by giant groups with investors pulling strings from afar, they churn out uniform stories that echo national scripts more than digging into local truths. From pandemic coverage that towed the official line without question to pushing diversity quotas that feel forced, these outlets seem more interested in pleasing far-off bosses than serving Nebraska viewers who want straight reporting on what matters here. Nebraskans keep heading to the polls with wide eyes, only to elect smooth-talking politicians who promise one thing and deliver another. Time and again, we put trust in familiar faces who end up mismanaging funds, chasing out-of-state schemes, and ignoring the real needs back home. It is a pattern that leaves folks shaking their heads, wondering why we keep falling for the same charm that hides contempt for the very people they represent. And do not get me started on the sad state of education in our state. Too often, it feels like we are passing down less know-how with each generation, leaving young people short on basic skills while older folks cling to a false sense of superiority. If we keep teaching shortcuts and ignorance, we are only setting up our communities for harder times ahead, with no one left who can truly carry the load. Finally, this all adds up to what many see as a straight betrayal of Nebraska's heritage. From importing foreign workers to letting demographic tides wash over our towns without a fight, powerful players, corporations, politicians, and their networks are accused of selling out the pioneer spirit and traditional communities that built this state. The fear is that our children's future will look nothing like the Nebraska we grew up in, with safety, culture, and opportunity slipping away to serve global profits and agendas. That wraps our late-night look at the stories shaping Nebraska right now. These are the fights worth staying awake for, the ones about keeping our jobs, roads, schools, and way of life in the hands of folks who belong here. Stay vigilant out there, speak up at every chance, hold the powerful to account, and get involved before it is too late. We will be back tomorrow with more plain talk. This is the Nebraska News Radio Show, Late Night Edition, signing off. Sleep well if you can, and fight hard when you wake.